This is the last time we're going to be talking to you, right? To summer break here. What do you expect from your guys in the next 6 weeks or so? And what do what do you do? What do you have on the agenda to work? Get ready.
Well, I would just say for those guys to come back ready to go, be in shape, make sure they're being safe out there over the couple weeks. Rookies have a little less time than the vets. They'll come back ready to go, both mentally and physically. As far as myself, I'll get a little bit of downtime, but then you're right back at it and making sure you're reviewing schedules and training camp practices and getting a head start on some of the opponents. So get a little bit of downtime, don't do a whole bunch.
Brian, I don't think we ever asked you about the joint practice with the Jets.
Yeah.
Coach Sala said the other day you guys aren't going to do that.
Yep.
Any reason for that?
Yeah, we just thought this year we're going to take a break. They're practicing against a couple teams. We're practicing against Detroit. And then we play each other during the year, so kind of get together next offseason and probably start it back up.
Brian, what do you think of the quality of your depth overall? Do you think it's better than it was a year ago when you walked in here?
Yeah, I'd say probably tough to tell right now. We have a lot of work to do, a lot ahead of us once training camp starts. The guys have been working hard. The guys that we have here have done everything we've asked them to do, and I think we'll have better answers for that once we get out there with pads on.
Brian, what was Parcells' message to the team after practice yesterday, and how do you think it resonated?
I think that'd be a good question for the players, but they were definitely, listening. I think all the coaches were. It was great to have Coach Parcells here. We talked a little bit about accountability, adversity. Good message for the team and for the coaches.
What does that mean to you?
Oh, it was great. He's obviously an NFL legend, a Giant legend, and just to have him out here was, I think, was great for everybody.
What have you been able to glean from your team throughout the spring? You come here every year. I know you said guys don't win or lose jobs now, but
sure.
I'm sure you can take something from the spring of like what kind of roster and group you have.
Well, I think one of the most important things in spring is the strength and condition. I think those guys have done a good job with that. And then, the chemistry that you build with one another, not just on the field but off the field, getting to know one another. We've signed a bunch of new free agents. We have the college guys coming in. So, again, it's been a good group to work with. Time will tell here as we get started in training camp.
Do you see a more talented roster when you look out there than maybe you did last year?
I think the time will tell. Every year is a different year. We'll see as it goes.
As a guy who's called plays for a long time, what is it like when you know you're on the ball, when your team is running the ball well? Does that open up everything in your offense?
For us, it's each game is different. There's been times where I've called plays and haven't run the ball in an entire half. I think that was close to a playoff game. It was close. So, again, we're going to try to do whatever we need to do as we figure out our team as we go through training camp, and that's how we approach it. It might not be the same as every team, but that's certainly how we approach it.
As far as last year with your defense, low rank in run defense. I mean, how much is that? As much as Wake wants to do and everything, how much if you can't stop the run does it just make everything that much more difficult?
Again, I think each game is different. Some games there's a lot of rushing yards and against you, and you can still find a way to win. Again, we got a lot of areas to improve on. Not just in that area, and not just on defense, but on offense and the kicking game. And those are some of the things we've talked about here. We're going to have to work on once we get pads on.
Do you have a message to your guys in terms of the difficulty of the schedule that's in front of you?
Yeah, we're not there yet. My message is let's go out here and have a good day today. Yeah. I don't think you don't get ahead of yourself. Every year is a different year. Every team is different that you play. So what you did last year really has nothing to do with this year. Your focus has to be on your individual improvement, your collective improvement, and just keeping it day-to-day approach.
I know a lot of coaches are always to have a successful season or some success. They protect the next year against sort of overconfidence and stuff. How much do you feel you have to do that? I mean, I know you mentioned you were very adamant about at the owners' meetings about how, hey, what did we really accomplish, right? We got smashed in the playoffs, but how much do you keep that in mind as you go through this whole process?
I just think you have to restart and build your team from the ground up. Again, it's like we say during the season, what you do one week has nothing to do with the next week. What you did one year has nothing to do with this year. So we have to have the right mindset of improving each day, again, as individually, coaches, players, staff, and as a group. And that's where we keep it, Jordan. We don't get too far ahead of ourselves. There's a lot to work on, a lot to improve on, and that's what we're trying to do.
Have you noticed a chemistry or a bond between Daniel and Wallace?
Yeah, I think they're getting comfortable with one another. The new guys that are coming in, I think Parris has done a good job with that as well. But again, we take it for what it's worth.
How about off the field?
I think that'd be a good question for those guys, the two of them.
Brian, Hodges jumped right in our introduction for you guys last year when you got here. How much does it help this year, you think, to have this base, this
Yeah, again, he wasn't a rookie. He had some familiarity with it, but I think anytime you're in the second year or the third year system, you have some experiences to draw from. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be better or going to be worse, because you have to go out there and do it all over again.
So what are you going to do the next 6 weeks? Are you going to get away from football? Are you going to?
No, I'm not going to do the whole bunch. You get away a little bit, but it's a different position than being a position coach or coordinator. There's always stuff that comes up, so I think it's important to take a little bit of downtime, but you can't get too far away from it.
Darren mentioned that player input is welcome in the offense here. Why is that important to you?
It's players are the ones that win the games, so I take all input from coaches, from players. Again, maybe there's a route that he ran, maybe it wasn't last year, but maybe it was 3 years ago, that he feels pretty comfortable with, that we don't have, and it'd be worth taking a look at. Those guys know themselves pretty well, particularly the good players that have done it for a while. So again, maybe that's not everybody's approach, but that's certainly ours.